Kadosh, Erev Tov, Masechet Ketubot Daf Tet Amud Aleph. We are 99a1. The Gemara is going to ask a question as follows. If right now in the Seif of the Mishnah, which was the third case that we're talking about, where the Almanah, the widow, came and she dropped the value of the field, which means that she sold it for a lesser value. So then obviously it's mashma that if this was only happening in the third case, Havi Reisha, so then in the second case where we just brought a proof from, we're talking about Oziel. And she didn't bring down the price. Diktani Seifa, but we said in the Seifa, if the ketubah was worth 400 zuz, and she sold it, to this one money, and the other one money, which means in the first one, each one was sold for the right amount, which was 100, one money each one. And the last one was sold. That means the last one, it was really worth 101, and she sold it for 100. Only in the last case, meaning the last person, was batel. But everything else, it's going to be kayam. So says the Gemara, it's not a proof. Why? Lo, Reisha v'Seifa, Reisha and the Seifa, b'de Oziel is talking about where she brought down the price. The Seifa and the Seifa is kamashmalan, Tamad de Oziel b'diyatme. The reason why we're bringing it down the price was we made it cheaper in the Yitomim. Aval b'didaba, to do with her, nichra kayam. Meaning, if it was only going to do with her the ketubah, that's one thing. It would have been okay. But to do with the price because of the Yitomim, the orphans, that's why it's going to be batel. It's going to be annulled. Hamid Reisha Shema Minaba, from the first part of the Mishnah, we're learning if her ketubah was worth 200. Umachran, she sold, whether it's 100 for 200 or 200 for 100. She received her entire ketubah, and that's it. So says the Gemara, I would have thought to say that she completely removed herself from her husband's properties completely. But in our case, it's coming to teach you that the third field, the three previous fields, from the fourth field, is going to be the same halacha. So we're not going to make such a decree. That means only the fourth one is going to be batel, because she went and she made it cheaper on the cheshbon, on the account of the orphans. But the other three, it's going to be okay. And some people say that what is this compared to? For example, somebody that comes and he says, go sell my half an acre, and they went and they sold a full acre. For sure, he's adding on to the person's words, right? So when is the case? When is the doubt then? The Elmaleh, when he tells him, go sell for me a kura, one kur, which is, let's say, 1 acre of the property. It's not exactly an acre, but I'm just giving the example. The he only sold half of it, the half of a kur. What's halacha? Do we say, that he tells him, that I did you a favor, because if you really didn't need the money, so then you can't retract. Or maybe Elmaleh, you could tell him, I don't want to start selling so many documents, meaning every single time I have to sell the field. Even now, instead of selling 1 full acre, I have to sell a half an acre to one, half an acre to another. Every single time I need lawyers, I need paperwork, I need this. You're giving me more headaches. So therefore, it's not worth it for me. So Amar Rabbi Chanina Mesuda says, Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. If he comes and he gives him 1 dinar zahav, which is 6 slaim, and he tells him, go buy me a chaluk. And he went and he bought him 3 slaim chaluk and 3 slaim a talit. Right? And then at the end, Shnei Malu. So also the Balabait was Moel, and also the Shliach is Moel, if at the end of the day this money would belong to Hekdesh, which means that if it was consecrated money, so that they both did Milah. Remember, Milah means when you benefit from Hekdesh, from consecrated properties, you have to bring a Korban Milah, plus you have to pay the principal and an extra fifth. So, I understand the Shliach, was we're going to say, it's considered that he added on to his words, because of that, the Balabait did Milah. But if you're going to tell me that he went against the words of the Balabait, so then why is he Ma'al then? At the end of the day, the Shliach didn't do a Shlichut, so therefore the Balabait should be completely patur from Milah. So answers the Gemara, it was worth 6 slaim, but he brought it for half price for shalosh, and that's why it's going to be considered that he did fulfill his words in a certain sense. So says the Gemara, so if so, if he did the words of the balabait, shliach hamaymal. So why is there milah by the shliach? He went and instead he got it at half price. So perfect. What's the problem then? So says the Gemara, at talit, you're right. On the buying of the talit is the problem. That's why that means the shliach on the buying of the clothing there was a balabait that did the milah. But on the buying of the talit, the shliach was doing the milah. So says the Gemara, yachir. So let's see the seifa. The seifa says Rabbi Yehuda says. Af bazeh, also in this case, he could say chaluk gadol hayiti mivakesh. I wanted a big chaluk. You brought me a small one and a bad one. Meaning it all depends on quality. You're right, you got it half price, but you got me it's something inferior. It wasn't as good. It was smaller. I wanted something good. So says Gemara, what does it mean bad? My ra bedamim. Did it tell me Elmaleh? It says if you would have brought me with a 6, then it would have bought me would have been worth 12. Meaning you bought it half price. But 1 second, if you would have bought it for the 6, it would have been worth 12. Now that you brought it for 3, it was only worth 6. So really, it wasn't the best. So Deikanami Diktani, we could also deduce that the Diktani, as we learned from Rabbi Yehuda, the kitnit sheshnehem malu. Rabbi Yehuda is going to be agreeing in the case of a kitnit when he went and he sent him to buy, like pulim or like beans, right? And he went and he bought it with half a seller. Now the extra half, he went and come out and it was hekdesh. So they both did milah, right? So the Dikteta Mubet 99b. Why? Shakitnit besela v'kitnit bepruta. Because you could buy it with a seller, meaning that it all depends on qualities. You could buy the good ones, you could buy the bad ones. Shema mina. So therefore, that's what we're trying to learn over here, that this is actually going to be a machloket to do with whether do we say that there was a milah or not, also from the shaliach or not from the shaliach. So says the Gemara, whether it's the case that we're dealing with, if you're going to tell me now that it's a place where they come and they start selling it with evaluations, so therefore, if he's going to come and give him a seller, he's making it cheaper. So Rav Papa says, really, they're coming and they're measuring it. The Elmaleh that he tells him, kana v'kana b'pruta, give me with 1 pruta. So therefore, the fact that he's telling him, it comes out that I didn't make him lose anything because I didn't use the entire amount, right? I bought it. If you want, take more money and get more. It's not that I bought it inferior. I just didn't buy the full amount. Right? Why? Because of the amount that you gave me. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring another proof. What happens right now for Ketubah is worth 400 zuz, and she sold it. Remember, she sold it 100, 100, 100, and the last one was 101. She sold it for 100. So he said the last one is batel, and all the rest is going to be okay. So if you see from here that even though we said that the shalosh mechirot, the first ones are going to be okay, right? What do we say? That the difference, the changing in the shlichut is not considered ma'avir al dvarav, that he transgressed the words. So says the Gemara, no, there it's like Rav Shisha. What are you talking about? We're talking about small fields. So since they're small fields, you can't sell them in one batch. If it's one thing, you could sell in one batch. But here it's a small little, so you can't sell it in one batch. So you're going to sell it separately. So says the Gemara Pshita, then obvious. If you went and you told to one person and not to 2 people, right? Elmaleh, you told him le'echav v'lo l'shnayim. Right? Elmaleh, he says le'echad stama and mai. What happens if he said to one person? And if you went, I said I want to sell it to one person. So that means I want you to sell all my fields to one individual. But what happens if he said echad lo l'shnayim? Or I said to one person. He didn't say to not too many. So sell my field to someone. Ravuna says le'echad v'lo l'shnayim. That means when you say to one person, it means one and not more. And Rav Chasta comes and he says, Ravuna, they both say le'echad v'afilu l'shnayim. Le'echad v'afilu l'mea, 1 and even to 2, and 1 and even to 100. So Ikla Rav Nachman l'Sura. Rav Nachman went to Surah. He went to Rav Chasta and Rav Ravuna. Amruleh, and he told him, what's halacha? Amalu, he told him, le'echad v'afilu l'shnayim, le'echad v'afilu l'mea. When he says to 1, it means even to 2 or even to 100. It doesn't matter. So Amruleh, so they told him, Afagav the Tashliach, even though he went and he sold it even for cheaper, it's the same halacha. Even if let's say he brought down the price. Amaleu the Tashliach lo kamina. It was never talking about in the case where the shliach made a mistake. Amruleh, so he said, Amamor, enon ala kakao. What do you mean? There's no ona for kakao. Meaning for field, it's a physical property. There's never ona. You could always, there's no true value. You could always pay more for it because it's real estate. Real estate is always higher up. So it says, no, that's only if the balabait made a mistake. But if the shaliach made a mistake, the Elmaleh, he could tell the shaliach, I sent you to help me, not to make it worse. Meaning a balabait always could tell the shliach, listen, when I sent you to help me out, not to make matters worse in my hands. So says the Gemara, how do we know then the shana that there's a difference between the shliach and the balabait? The Tanam, as we learned in the Mishnah and Trumot. Somebody comes and he tells the shliach, Seu Trum, go separate truma for me. For him, the balabait, so he's doing it the balabait. But if he doesn't know the data balabait, right? Torem the benonit, he has to do normal amount. What is that? 1/50th. If he gave less, or si masara, he gave more than 10% more than that, truma is going to be good. But to do the balabait, Tanya, we learned, taram even if it's going to be 1 to 20, it's still going to be truma. So you see from here that the balabait is more makpid on a ta'ut of a shaliach more than a ta'ut of himself. Meaning, if a person is going to make a mistake, he's much more willing to accept it if it's going to be his own shaliach. It's his messenger. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's a messenger. He's going to start. But you would have made the exact same mistake. It doesn't matter. If it's you making the mistake, you accept it. If it's going to be your shaliach making the mistake, it's going to be much worse. Okay? V'tashema, we also could bring a proof. Haitak tubatar b'meot zuz. If the ketubah was worth 400 zuz, he sold it for 1 to a mana, another one to a mana, and the last one he sold the one which was 101 to 100. We said the last one is going to be batel, everything else is going to be kayam, meaning the first 3 which were sold for 100 is going to be okay. So again, you see from here, right? I mean, a person is not makpid unless he says mefurash, sell it to one person and not to 2 people. So again, we're talking about small fields. When we're talking about small fields, anyway, you could sell it the way that it is. And Mezrat Hashem will continue tomorrow from the Mishnah and Tzadik Tet Amud Bet towards the bottom. Have a wonderful day.